There, that should do it. As long as our orbital path holds, we shouldn't be detected by satellites or radar.
I'm sorry you didn't get to see much of Earth while we were down there. And now you're stuck up here again.
I'm happy to be stuck up here. It's a great ship, far more spacious than the satellite. And much better company.
I can't argue with that. I came here to ask if you could help me with the mystical eye drops the doctor gave me. There's instructions on this port screen.
Cress froze as she looked at the port screen. On top of everything about the eye drops and the biological warfare, there is a tab labeled with her name.
What's wrong?
He has a DNA analysis. And a paternity confirmation.
Cress, are you alright?
Not really. I should have told him I loved him. He was dying and he was right there, and I knew I would never see him again. But I couldn't say it. Am I horrible?
Of course not. He may have been your biological father, but you still barely knew him. How could you have loved him?
Does it matter? He said he loved me. He was dying, and now he's gone, and I'll never...
Cress. Hey, stop it. You didn't do anything wrong. It all happened so fast, and there was nothing you could do.
He took my blood sample that first day. He knew all this time, for almost a whole week. Why didn't he tell me sooner?
Cress buried her face against his chest and let the tears come. She almost felt guilty when, a few minutes later, the tears had already started to dry up. Her sadness wasn't enough. Her mourning wasn't enough, but it was all she had.
Listen, Cress. I'm not an expert by any means, but I know you didn't do anything wrong today. You shouldn't tell someone you love them unless you mean it.
But I thought you said you've told lots of girls that you love them.
Which is exactly why I'm not an expert. Thing is, I didn't love any of them. I'm honestly not sure I would recognize real love if it was...
If it was what?
Nothing. Are you alright?
I think so. We should probably take care of those eye drops. Here goes. How does that feel?
Like I have water in my eyes. Maybe the solution is just water, and the doctor was playing a practical joke on me.
That would be awful. He wouldn't have done that.
I don't know. He made it pretty clear he didn't think too highly of me.
If that's true, it's only because he didn't know you well enough yet.
True. I would have charmed him eventually. I have to tell you something.
Oh?
Remember when we were in the desert, and I said I didn't want to hurt you? Because you were wrong about me?
When you tried to deny how much of a hero you really are?
A hero, exactly. Here's the thing. That girl I stood up for when those jerks took her port screen, well, she was really good at math. And at the time, I was failing. I thought she'd let me copy her math homework.
Why are you telling me this now?
I couldn't before. You were so certain that I was this other person, and I kind of liked that you saw me differently than everyone else. Part of me kept thinking that maybe you've been right all along, and it's everyone else who's been wrong about me. That even I've been wrong about me. But even that was just my ego talking, wasn't it? And you deserve to know the truth. So, given this new information, you, probably don't still think you're in love with me. Do you?
She shrank into her chair. The truth would be imminent in every angle of her face. She loved him more than ever, and not because he was the dreamy, untouchable Carswell Thorne that she'd imagined. Now he was the Carswell Thorne who had given her strength in the desert, who had come for her when she was kidnapped, who had kissed her when hope was lost and death was imminent, but her silence seemed to convince him otherwise.
Captain?
Yeah?
Do you think it was destiny that brought us together?
No, I'm pretty sure it was Cinder.
Maybe there isn't such a thing as fate. Maybe it's just the opportunities we're given and what we do with them. I'm beginning to think that maybe great, epic romances don't just happen. We have to make them ourselves.
You know, if it was a bad kiss, you can just say so.
What? That's not at all what I... Wait, did you think it was a bad kiss?
No. I thought it was... But there were clearly a lot of expectations and a lot of pressure, and we were going to die, you know?
I know, and... No, it wasn't. I didn't think it was a bad kiss.
Oh, thank the stars. Because if I ruined that for you, I was going to feel like such a cad.
Scarlet awoke to the sight of steel bars, the earthy smell of ferns and moss, and the chatter of 1,000 birds. A wolf yipped. A short, curious howl, a friendly howl. He was watching her from his own cage.
He likes you.
A stranger was sitting cross-legged in her cage, so close she could have touched her. She was clearly not another prisoner, or pet as the Lunars called her. Her clothing was the first indication of her status. A gauzy silver-white dress, her warm brown skin was flawless and healthy, and her eyes were bright, her silky black hair curled with perfect spirals, neatly framing her high cheekbones and ruby red lips. She was the most beautiful human being Scarlet had ever seen, yet there was one anomaly. Or 3. The right side of her face was marred by 3 scars that cut down her cheek like perpetual tears. Strangely, they did not reduce her beauty, but almost accentuated it, almost compelled a person to stare at her longer. But this girl was Lunar, Scarlet realized, and it all must be glamour.
Ryu and I are confused. Did you have a good dream or a bad dream?
Who are you? And who's Ryu?
Ryu is the wolf, silly. You've been neighbors for 4 days now. As for me, I am your new best friend. But don't tell anyone, because they all think that I'm your master now and that you are my pet. They don't know that my pets are really my dearest friends. We shall fool them all, you and I.
You're the girl from the interrogation. Princess Winter.
Your hair is like burning. Does it smell like smoke?
The girl pressed her nose against her hair and inhaled.
Not at all. That's good. I wouldn't want you to catch fire. I thought today we could play doctor and patient. Let me feel you. You aren't running a fever.
You're not a doctor.
No, that's why it's pretend. Aren't you having fun?
Fun? I've been mentally and physically tortured for days. I'm starving. I'm thirsty. I'm being kept in a cage in a zoo. And now some crazy person comes in here and is trying to act like we're good pals playing a game of make-believe.
You shouldn't call me crazy. The guards don't like that.
But you are crazy.
I know. Do you know how I know? Because the palace walls have been bleeding for years, and no one else sees it. No one believes me. But in some corridors, the blood has gotten so thick, there's nowhere safe to step. When I have to pass through these places, I leave a trail of bloody footprints for the rest of the day. And then I worry that the Queen's soldiers will follow the scent and eat me up while I'm sleeping. Some nights I don't sleep very well. But if the blood was real, the servants would clean it up. Don't you think? Now, this is for you. Doctor's orders are to take 1 pill twice a day. They wouldn't let me bring you real medication, of course, so it's just candy.
I'm not gonna eat it.
Why not? It's a gift to cement our forever friendship. Sour apple petites. my personal favorites.
What do you want from me?
I want us to be friends.
And all of your friendships are based on lies? Wait! Of course they are! You're Lunar!
I've only ever had 2 friends, other than the animals, of course. But one of my friends turned into ashes when we were very little. A pile of girl-shaped ashes. The other has gone missing, and I don't know if he'll ever come back. You have seen him.
Do you ever make sense?
Was he all right when you last saw him? Sybil said he was still alive, that he may have been used to pilot that ship, but she didn't say if he'd been injured. Do you think he's safe? Jason Clay, Sybil's guard, with the blonde hair, beautiful eyes, and the rising sun in his smile. Please tell me he's all right.
I remember 2 people trying to kill me and my friends.
Yes, and Jason was one of them. How did he look?
He looked like he was trying to kill me. I'm sure my friends killed him first. That's usually what we do to people who work for your queen.
You don't mean that.
Oh, I do. And believe me, he deserved it.
Winter was beginning to shake now, like she was on the verge of hyperventilating. Scarlet decided without much guilt that she wouldn't do a thing about it. This stranger was no friend.
I see. That will conclude this visit. I prescribe adequate rest and... I wasn't lying about the walls that bleed. Someday soon, I fear the palace will be soaked through with blood, and all of Artemisia Lake will be so red, even the earthens will be able to see it.
I'm not interested in your delusions, and I don't care for your mock sympathy either, or your glamour, your mind control. You people have built your entire culture on lies, and I want nothing to do with it!
Winter stared at her for so long. Scarlet began to wish she hadn't said anything.
I haven't used my glamour since I was 12 years old. Not since I was old enough to control it. That's why the visions come to me. That's why I'm going mad.
When Kai woke up in his wedding shirt and sash, a view of Earth out the window, panic and nausea filled him. Had she shot him? He launched himself out of the bed and rushed out of the room. 2 people were sitting in the cockpit.
Where's Cinder?
Your Majesty!
Welcome aboard the Rampion, your majesticness. Captain Carswell Thorne, at your service.
Yeah, I recognized you.
You do? He recognizes me, Cress!
Where's Cinder?
I believe she's in the pod ship dock. Your Majesty, we can take you there if you'd like.
Aiko was thrilled with Cinder's repairs.
You're the best mechanic an android could ever ask for.
Say that when you don't have an enormous gaping hole in your throat.
Oh, yuck. I hate when my wiring is showing.
I know the feeling.
Figures that as soon as Captain Thorne brings home this marvelous body for me, those stupid Lunars go and ruin everything.
Here she is, Your Majesty.
Don't let him see me this way.
Aiko dove behind the pod ship.
You're awake. How do you feel?
Kidnapped. How should I feel?
I was hoping maybe you'd feel well rested.
We need to talk.
No one ever likes to hear those words.
Thorne, why don't you go give Aiko a tutorial with the cockpit controls?
Excellent idea. Come on, Aiko.
Is he looking?
He's not looking.
Are you sure?
You're not looking.
She gestured for him to turn around.
All clear.
And then they were alone.